welcome back to Socialette. This is episode 448. 5 interesting things that I learned from my most recent launch. So a couple of days ago, I closed doors to Launch Magic for the second time this year. I launch it twice per year, and this was now my third time that I've launched it. And every time that I launch it, I try new things and I learn a lot from each launch. So I'm really excited in this episode to share with you a couple of the things that I learned that you might be able to apply to your launches as well, or that might get you thinking about some of the launches you've done previously. So one of the interesting things I discovered was that the people who ended up buying Launch Magic had on average been on my email list for 108 days before they bought Launch Magic. Now, this could be a factor of the fact that Launch Magic is only open twice a year. You can only sign up in May or in November. So it could be that they just subscribed to my email list after I'd closed doors last time and hadn't had a chance to. But it could also be that they need that extra nurturing, right? It could be that they need those extra touch points from me before they are ready to buy Launch Magic. So this tells me that I need to spend more time and more energy on growing my audience in between launches so that I have that extra time to nurture them, so that next time I open doors to Launch Magic, they're a lot warmer and they're a lot more where they need to be ready to buy. The second interesting thing that I learned was that 71% of the people who bought Launch Magic this time also attended the webinar. So even though the webinar didn't convert very well live, and that's something that I know I need to tweak and improve next time, it wasn't, because it wasn't as good as it has been in the past. Even though it didn't convert that well live, it's clear that the webinar has been a big factor in people deciding to buy or to not buy Launch Magic. Most of the people who registered for the webinar, they came from a Facebook ad. This was the third really interesting thing I realized. Even people who were already following me or who were on my email list, they still saw the Facebook ad and registered from the Facebook ad rather than from an email that I sent out or from Instagram. And what really blew my mind was that only 5 people out of the 2,600 people who registered for the webinar, only 5 people came from the link that I gave you in the podcast episodes. 5 people. That blows my mind. I would have thought that a lot more people would come from the podcast, but then at the same time, I guess a lot of you listeners are on my email list. You're following me on Instagram, so you probably saw a different touch point before you heard about it on the podcast. The other interesting thing, the last interesting thing that I learned in this launch was that the only difference between the result that I got and the result that I wanted was sheer numbers of people. I needed around 3 times as many people to register for the webinar to hit the goal that I wanted to hit that financial goal, that registrations goal. But I actually ended up pulling back on my Facebook ad spend. My webinar registration ads were getting very expensive. I think I was paying about $20 per lead at one point. And I ended up scaling back my ad spend because I was terrified that my launch wouldn't perform very well. So I just didn't have enough people registered to hit that goal. But if I'd had those people in the funnel, if I'd had people registered for the webinar, then it would have been a whole lot easier to reach that goal that I had in mind. Now, don't worry, I'm talking about, in a future episode, I am going to talk about what I do when I don't hit a launch goal, because there's 2 things you can do about it. You can be like, oh, woe is me, I didn't hit my goal. Or you can be proactive and look at why you didn't hit that goal and use that to improve future launches. And that's what I'm talking about in the next episode. So stay tuned for that. If you're not already following or subscribed to this podcast, hit the follow button or the subscribe button, depends on which platform you're on. And make sure that you tune back in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for new episodes. If you have any friends who you think would benefit from listening to Socialette, please do tell them about it. It's how I can help more people. Thanks so much for listening. Catch you next time.